We are in a new location.
I mean, it's random.
It's very random.
It's random.
It's
Should
cold.
Should we explain why it's random?
Yes, and especially for those listening and can just hear noises, cars, people shouting,
footballers.
wind maybe. I'm sorry about the wind, not like wind.
No, I'm sorry about that as well.
Did you?
The pastry.
What did you eat? You had a lot of pastry. No, we were meant to be filming in our lovely studio, but unfortunately for some reason it's locked up. So we're now outside near in one of the local schools, but it's a nice little backdrop. There's like a little. Can you see it on there? There's like a Christmas tree behind us. You might not be able to see it on the camera.
Very early festive.
It is. The only problem is I didn't bring a coat because I thought we were going to be inside, and it is mid-November.
We'll go fast. Should we go fast? Should we speak really fast, babe? Should we speak really fast and see if it warms you up?
I might start going higher pitch depending on how cold.
How about just a little jump?
Just a little jump. There we go. I jumped. That's helped masses. Yeah, but we obviously had a week off.
We had a week off. It's half term, wasn't it?
It was half term. You went away?
We went away. Went to Wales. It was lovely. Wet and also dry.
Okay.
That's how I describe it.
That's
that's
combo.
Wales summed up, really.
Yeah, wet.
It does rain,
dry.
and when it rains in Wales, it's wetter than anywhere.
Yes.
I'd say.
Yes.
And then the sun comes out, and then it's more beautiful than anywhere.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Lots of Welsh cakes, lots of wine.
I mean, that sounds like a great. That sounds like a great week. That sounds like a great week.
How about
for sure.
yourself? Half term? Anything?
Half term, it was nice. I had a bit of a relax, which was nice. I got to actually have a lie-in, which was nice. There was a concert on for one of the local groups.
Lovely.
They had a concert. I helped out at that. I wasn't in that one, but I helped out.
Nice.
Went very, very well. Lots of lovely feedback. It was lovely to see another show back. It was a socially distanced one again with tables.
Nice.
But it was a really nice feel to it. A really nice sort of event, and it sort of shows that those events, even though and it's a bit like when we did in the Heights, the fact that there are only like less than 100 people, it's less than half full, but it feels full.
Yeah.
Like the noise of the audience, as long as you've got a good performance and the audience are loving it, then it doesn't feel empty or it doesn't feel half full.
Good.
So that was really.
Got a few of those coming up, haven't we? And a few more socially distanced. We're doing that for Bodycut as well.
You are socially distancing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And that's coming up in the next.
Coming up in a few weeks' time. They're not nervous at all. We had a fantastic rehearsal last night. Well done, the Bodycut lot. Excellent, it's really coming together. So
Brilliant.
exciting.
Fantastic. So we haven't got a special guest this week.
We haven't got a special guest. We are our own guests. And I think you can't get more special than us.
Absolutely. I've been told that many times.
Special.
So it's just us. But we will. So should we just launch straight into it in that case? So yes. So let's talk about our topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week. I looked around then as if to say I might get kind of discovered singing my jingle.
Imagine
in
if
the
we
middle
just turn and have an
turn
audience.
Like, is anyone actually listening to me?
Have an audience of like football players who we can hear
Clapping
just over there
and
somewhere.
Going, that's a great
Clapping.
jingle. Yeah, because the jingles.
There we go.
There you
See,
go.
they're
They were
shouting.
Oggy,
because they love
They
you.
loved my jingle.
And that whistle was to send you off. But anyway, what we're talking about this week, our topic of the week, we're talking about school productions and how they differ from, say, when we do an amateur show. Obviously, a school show is an amateur production, but it is different. And we're talking about this because this week I have my school production, which I've directed.
What days?
On next Friday and Saturday. Oh, it's a school bell. Oh God, Jill, you set it off with your singing.
Oh dear.
I mean, it's a Saturday. We have, so I have a school production coming up. So if in 1 week's time I will have done 2 shows and I'll be getting ready for. Well, personally, I'm not in it, but then we'll have 2 more coming up.
Very good, very exciting. And I know my daughter's got Shakespeare for Schools on Monday, and my husband, who, as you know, is a primary school teacher, literally this week, one of his exciting evening tasks, cast the Nativity.
Cast the Nativity.
I said,
amazing.
Surely that's something we could help, me and Katie could help with.
Yeah.
On the grounds that we are, into it.
Thespians.
He said all he was doing is making the decision about who could stand still and who could read. Shh.
Who could stand? Is he going to?
Can this person stand still for more than 3 seconds? Tick. Right, give him a.
They're Joseph and Mary. I mean, is he going to cameo as the baby Jesus?
Not this year.
Oh,
no.
that's a shame. That would have
He
been
has
fun.
had some very amusing anecdotes from previous nativities.
Oh, yes.
Where he's put them on Twitter about if you bang the baby Jesus on the floor again, I am calling social services and various shepherds falling off stages and things like that. So yes, that's a whole different kind of school show, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
We're not talking about that today.
No, we're talking about sort of more secondary school
Secondary
in particular,
school.
where you are doing
Okay.
like a musical. So obviously we're doing a little concert. When I say little, it's absolutely massive. There are 130 cast members. There's about 20 or 30 people students helping behind the scenes. So it's a massive, massive undertaking. It is a military operation in terms of the planning. But it is different.
Why is it different, Benjamin? Do tell.
What a great question.
I know, it's almost like you're prying.
Almost like we planned that question. So it is, I think doing a school show is very different than doing an amateur production for multiple reasons. One, it's sort of part of your job as a drama teacher. If you're directing something for a school, it's part of your job. And
Does that make more pressure or less pressure?
I think some more pressure. I mean, for me, this is my first production at this school, so I kind of want to make it look good. It's not a full musical; it's this concert, but we're making it look amazing. We're going in tomorrow to do all the getting, but I think there's more pressure there. I think you sort of feel, for me, with a new school, I've got sort of team members and cast who have never worked with me before. So to them, they're like, "Is he any good?"
Yeah.
And I'm finding that really interesting this year because I know usually if I do a show here, I will have people that have done a show with me before who trust me and go, he knows what he's doing, he will get the stuff done. Whereas, and I'm not talking about staff members, I've got an amazing team of staff who are absolutely incredible, who are, helping so much and, doing so much work for this with me. But in terms of like the students, they want it to be good and they're like, oh, does he know how to direct? And it's like, yeah, I do, I promise. I have done it a few times. So doing that is quite interesting. I think there's a lot more in terms of pressure from things like parents.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before with like youth groups. Sometimes parents can be difficult. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry. Parents
Use the
can
D word.
What did I? Oh, blimey. Parents can be difficult, I'm afraid, and sometimes they don't quite understand casting decisions. And it's different when it's parents because you're the teacher rather than being able to say, well, look, it's my show, this is our group, this is our policy. It's different for when it's a school because there's a lot more to consider. And also you have to consider a bit more in terms of
Do you have to look at who was Mary and Joseph last year?
There's bits of that.
Yeah.
There's bits of, well, this person's maybe leaving school. There's sometimes a bit of entitlement around that, which I don't like, in terms of like, oh, well, I'm about to leave, so it should be me. Well, sometimes, yes, if I was stuck between two people, I'd maybe take that into consideration. But if there's someone who's better at the role, it's not fair to just say, oh, well, those that are about to leave can have the roles. Otherwise, there's no point doing auditions.
No.
And also, we have to take other things into consideration, such as like their learning in other subjects and how it might affect that, their behaviour in school and whether it's fair, whether they should be allowed to do a show.
We've also got that thing which I know is really challenging, which is when you see an audition, some people can do a bloody great audition, and then it dips off, and then you never really get them back to that standard. And because you're new to the school, and potentially the kids might be new to the school as well, there's some trepidation, I would think, about that casting decision as well.
There absolutely is. So there's no, because which is sometimes is nice because it was nice. Got something flying around me. It was nice in the auditions.
Flies.
It was a fly.
Just flies around them.
It's just
all the
flies.
time.
I haven't showered in 3 minutes.
Ew.
No. It's quite nice sometimes sitting in an audition and being like, I don't know what anyone's skill level is in terms of vocally in particular. Obviously, I know some of them as performers because I teach them. But so that was quite exciting. But you're right. You also go, but I don't know. When you do a show, you go, I know that person will deliver a good performance.
Yeah.
I know that person will work super hard. It's quite fresh and quite challenging like that. But you just have to really work with them, and and then you also have to remember there's a slightly different relationship in terms of
you can't swear.
I can't swear. I can't call them names. But obviously I'm still Mr. Coleman.
Yeah.
and there's a level of respect that's required there, which should be there, I think, with the director. I'm not expecting you to call me Mr. Coleman.
I will from now
in
on
rehearsal.
Be calling you Mr. Coleman.
God,
Mr. Coleman.
Thank you,
Mr.
thank
Coleman.
you. Don't make me phone your parents. But
You can if you want. To be honest, I'd love to hear.
I'd love to have a chat. We'll have a good chat. It's lovely.
I'll be up in a few weeks. You can.
Oh,
see.
good. We'll have a chat with them then. But yeah, so there's that level of respect as well, which so it can be difficult. But I also find that often in school productions, it does so much falls just on the drama, maybe music team, and which is small in schools.
Yeah.
Whereas say with ATC, we have a committee, and I can go if I know if I'm struggling with something, or if I'm like, oh God, that needs to be done, I can go, Gill, can you sort that for me, or can you go and do this? Whereas for us, it's sort of me and my colleague and the trainee teacher who's with us, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're going, so I've been up quite a few hours this morning. I made a list this morning, Gill, of things to do, and there's about 30 things on my list which I have to do before tomorrow.
Nice.
And I've already been to pick up costumes.
Speak faster then.
I know, and podcast was one of them. I've got to edit it as well. But I've been to Jeanette to pick up costumes, because she's up to provide some of the costumes and various bits and pieces like that. So that it's not a case of, and we're lucky that some of the students are obviously taking on those roles as well and stepping up. But equally, again, they are students, and you can't say, well, if this goes wrong, you're to blame, because that's not fair.
You do to me a lot.
Well,
Mr. Coleman.
To be fair, you need to pull your finger out.
It's all about finger stuff. Oh gosh.
Is it?
No. So can I ask you this question?
Yes.
About school productions, Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
What's your favourite ever school production you've either directed or, let's go way on back, been in?
Ooh, very, very tricky. I think my favourite school production that I've directed was We Will Rock You, which was my first school production that I directed, and I directed it here at this school that we're sat in at the moment, that the wind is probably blowing past and making this you not be able to hear me.
Memories like the corners of your mouth.
All that. I directed that here, and I was quite young at the time. I think I was probably only about 19, 20 when I directed it. And there was a cast of about 50, and I was quite left alone with it in a nice way. I was supported, but I was left sort of to do what I needed to do in rehearsals, and so that was sort of a real interesting challenge, because that was the first time I was Mr. Coleman directing a show, and that was really fun because it's a great show. A lot of fun. The kids were amazing, and some of them now have come on to do loads of things. Amelia, who's our choreographer for ATC, she was in that show. Luke, who's on the ATC committee, he and who's off doing very amazing things now. He was the lead in that show. We met all these people. A load of them came to do some of the different groups that we did. It's incredible. So that's probably my favourite. My favourite to be in. I really enjoyed doing. My first school show that I was in was Bugsy Malone. That was really fun.
Wait, what were you?
Fat Sam.
Fat Sam.
Fat Sam. That was really good. That was good fun.
Dirty rat.
Thank you. Yes, that was good fun. But then I really enjoyed. We did Billy Elliot. We were one of the few schools that were allowed to do Billy Elliot quite a few years ago, and that was quite amazing because obviously it's an amazing show. We had an amazing Billy Elliot. Connor Dowers, who sadly passed away recently. And that was just a really joyous show and also an amazing experience, an opportunity.
You can ask me now.
What's your favourite school show that you...
So I've never... no, actually, I tell a lie. I have directed some school shows. I went back and helped at St John's do a couple of directing stuff there, which was good fun. Again, very interesting for me to go into a school and have all the different connotations and not being with the drama group. This was in primary school, and it was challenging to have a lot of kids who genuinely didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
They were kind of forced. It was their year 6 show, and they were kind of everybody had to be in it. So you were dealing with that, which was really interesting. But they were great fun. Favourite school show I was ever in? 12th Night. I was at an all-girls convent. Hello to my Ursuline Convent High School friends on Facebook. And so I played Malvolio.
Oh, that's a good part.
Great part, and actually it's been done by Tamsin Greig as a female since then.
Was.
I think we've mentioned that before, but yeah, yellow gartered, cross-gartered, and yellow stockings, cross-gartered, all of that. So I enjoyed that one very much indeed. We also did Pirates of Penzance, and I was the Sergeant of Police, which was another one of my very favourite roles.
That's fun. Not a happy one. happy one. That
Yeah,
one.
I used to have a much lower voice in those days.
That's why you were cast as
Before
the man.
my voice broke upwards.
Before your voice broke upwards, it mended itself.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
all girls' schools, that's what it does to you.
That's what happens.
Yes,
That's what happens.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I think school shows are fantastic, and I do think when they're done right and it involves everyone and try and involve everyone, it becomes the heart and soul of the school, and it really does. It creates this amazing buzz and it unites people. We've got year 7 to 13.
I think it is challenging at the moment as well because the kids have missed so much kind of normal school.
Yeah.
That there's actually a huge amount of pressure on them.
So
I know
much
from my
pressure.
two that this is probably the term where and they're in GCSE and A-level years, so you can understand why the pressures come on. But I think that COVID hasn't helped with that.
No.
And actually, there's things like school shows that would be lovely, but it's also challenging at the moment. I think for people to work out, well, how do I get everything done?
Yeah, and be part of those exciting things.
And not miss out on them, but equally catch up on school that we haven't been at.
And this is where I think young people have to start becoming young adults, because this is where they have to take responsibility and go, okay, is it doable?
Is it doable?
Because
Can
for
I
some
do it?
people
Yeah.
it is. And when I was younger, it was for me. I was able to sort of manage it and balance it. But for some people, they have to really look at it and go, I don't think no matter how much I want to do this, no matter how much I'll miss not doing it, can I do it? And we have some people in the school show who have said it's going to be too much for me to learn this stuff. Could I help behind the scenes and just do a little bit here and there? Maybe help with props. Yes, amazing. Because that's a really responsible thing to do, in that you're still part of the process, still part of the team, but you've decided that it would be too much to take on.
And also, the other slice of it at the moment is the whole. And then what happens if there's a big COVID scare?
Well,
a la this week for my daughter.
Yes, that was a bit of a scare, wasn't it? From you? We've got, obviously, with it being a concert, this is another reason we picked a concert, was because if one person goes off ill who's a soloist, we can either easily remove that number without affecting the show, or we can get someone else to sort of learn that number. If it was a principal role, and so for example, we've got someone who's isolating, who's a soloist in one of the numbers, who's not going to be back. We haven't seen this term and half term yet, and won't be back till Wednesday. The dress rehearsal's Thursday, and that's to an audience. So that's like, oh God, we're going to have to work with that person on Wednesday quite quickly. But if he was a principal role in like a big show, I would be terrified now.
Yeah.
So
you would have had the look on the face that the drama teacher at Katie's school had on Wednesday night when I said she was going for a PCR test on Thursday morning. And I went, you could go on. She went, no.
But this will be a conversation. Well, we mentioned this before, and this will be a conversation. I was talking with my colleague, and we were saying I think with COVID probably here to stay at the moment, I think maybe, especially with school shows where it maybe is a bit easier, I think split casting is going to have to happen. So you have two casts who get, say, 2 performances each. And then if one of the leads in one of the cast goes off sick, the other one can jump in. Because I don't think it's fair, when we talk about understudies, I think it's difficult with amateur shows, because an understudy in a professional world is almost definitely going to go on, because professionals have holiday dates, they go off ill, they're doing a 2-year run, they're going to be off at some point. Whereas if you ask someone to learn a massive principal role, I mean, imagine if in Robin Hood I said to you, could you learn the sheriff part? There's a very good chance you won't ever go on. You'd be like, it's a waste of my time.
Quite pleased. I might not have to learn it.
You have to learn it. A couple of weeks and then you need to be off script.
Shh. La 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 la. He's not said that.
But yeah, I think school shows are magical, amazing things. I think they should be encouraged and supported.
100%.
And I think they do such great things for confidence, great thing for team building. And
should we retrospectively ask the listeners, viewers, peoples to post any thoughts and comments about their favourite school shows, comedy things that have happened through school shows?
Or any pictures.
Pictures. Get it. If
any
you're on the
school
Facebook,
shows,
get it on there.
Any school shows that you've been involved with.
Shall I try and find pictures of me in school shows?
Do it.
Shall I?
I'll find some as well.
Okay.
I think
that's
a good thing. So we want you to post any comments, thoughts, or either on YouTube,
Stories,
comment
pictures.
on YouTube, or comment on the Facebook page with pictures, stories, what shows, favourite roles you've been in. That would be quite nice to hear about.
Be really nice.
But next podcast, Jill, I'll let you know how the show went.
Perfect.
We'll have to find out when we're going to film, because next week I may be dead.
Well,
I don't know.
we'll just offset them a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah, so they are staggered with these
My
podcasts.
son's 18th birthday next Saturday.
It is. That's
So
exciting.
I might not be able to, because we're filming on a Saturday.
So we might not be able to film Saturday, maybe a Sunday.
He's going out in
Oh,
the
and also,
afternoon without me.
I'm at a show on
You're at a
Saturday.
show. You know, I'm just-
So we're doing the
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
So yes, the podcast release will be staggered at the moment, but bear with us. Hopefully you're enjoying them.
Yeah.
The
Keep looking
Pope's
for us,
not
keep
listening
looking
anymore.
for us. I know.
The Pope's been scared off. The Vatican City number did disappear.
I've had that chat. I've had that
But
chat.
the Pope,
Well, I said sorry.
in confessional. But anyway,
Don't have that conversation.
no. But anyway, get yourself to see school productions
Do
if
it.
they're on, because they are really, really amazing things, and they are the talent of the future.
And if you're the teachers, good luck with all
If you're
the
the teacher,
those.
good luck.
Good luck
Get
with
yourself
that.
a bottle of something
Enjoy.
because you'd absolutely
You're going to
deserve
be
it.
a collapse afterwards.
Absolutely. Should we dance out?
Let's dance out.
See you next time.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.